Hello and welcome to Cycles. This is an Ecofan visual novel. As you can see, we have Leo. He is currently, I'm assuming, doing something in the garage that he works at. Now, as far as I know, this visual novel takes place after Echo and after Arches. If I recall correctly, and if they were being serious, the certain events are a little different. Like, for example, the ending for Arches that it would be canon for Cycles is actually the one where Cameron doesn't survive, which, like, I'm gonna kick your ass, Tanner. And the smoke room is actually canon in this visual novel. And even though technically it is canon with Echo and even Arches, I think they were referring to the fact that the visual novel that George is writing is canon to this one. How that's gonna play out, I don't know yet. I did read the first chapter when the first build came out, but I decided to hold off and then, wait for there to be more. Like, for example, there are some changes, I think. At least I think one of the main ones was that the original screen that you would see here had the main character with his car, and then eventually Leo joins in, I think. I'm not exactly sure why he changed it to this one, but like I'm not complaining because I like Leo. He looks good right there. What else? I mean, I guess that's the majority of what I can say without spoiling anything else. But yeah. And I'm going based on what they were writing on their Discord because, yes, Tanner, I do look at the Discord channel from time to time. I do see what you write. But yeah. Anywho, so I guess without further ado, let us begin Cycles. I will note though that the cursor that replaces the mouse kind of throws me off. Disclaimer. Cycles is a fan project created only for the purpose of entertainment. It is not on profit. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. C.S. Lewis. Why go to a forgotten city, a place shrouded in creepy rumors? A few days ago, that's exactly what I did. I can't even remember why anymore, but now those rumors seem way too real. It's crazy how a place can mess with you. Call me naive, but when news of the ghost town hit the web in 2019, something inside of me just said, go check it out. Worst decision ever. Looking back, I still have some major regrets. There was this pull though, this weird feeling that dragged me there. Even now writing this, it gives me chills. Major chills, like someone's walking over my grave. Miles away, and I still feel like this whole place is watching me. It's gotta be my head messing with me, right? But the nightmares, man. They've been plaguing me for months. Freaky stuff. Echo wasn't exactly a ghost town. I mean, ghosts aren't real, are they? That's what I kept telling myself to stay sane. But the moment that I stepped foot in that messed up place, my whole world flipped. Every belief that I had, gone, poof. I thought that I knew what I was doing, but I was so wrong. Now, I'm not that skeptical jerk anymore. More like a certified idiot. But enough about me, right? Let's dive into the story. Chapter 1. Man, this drive is taking forever. Man, just checking about this bums me out. That depressing radio wasn't exactly helping my mood. Driving used to be my chill zone, like a mini vacation for my head. Lately though, my head's been a total mess. Sleep? Forget about it. All I get are these nightmare reruns of that accident. No wonder I'm feeling like a zombie. I barely slept a wink last night. My friend, bless his heart, tried to talk me out of leaving so early. But hey, stubborn streak, right? I stumbled back into my seat, squinting into the rearview mirror. The sun was barely visible now. Why did I decide to leave so damn early? I've been driving all day. Ugh, gotta give myself a pep talk here. I scowl at my reflection in the mirror, rubbing my face and leaning forward. Dark circles under my eyes. Great. Way to advertise how exhausted I am. Being a hyena kinda helps though. The fur hides a lot. I shove my hair aside and settle back into the seat, my butt protesting the long drive. Payton's gotta be close, just a few more minutes, I thought, skipping that depressing song to something with a beat. I need something to wake up, not cry or make me even more tired. Thank you very much. The highway was practically deserted, just a couple of trucks rumbling by, nothing major. It was kinda awesome actually, just cruising along with no traffic to hassle with. A few minutes stretched on forever, then finally a sign. Payton just 5 miles away. Yes, my butt's about to declare war on this seat. Just as victory filled me, my car decided to be a drama queen. A weird hissing sound started shrieking like a banshee, and a red light on the dashboard joined the party, blinking like a possessed disco ball on overdrive. And to top it all off, the temperature gauge was pegged in the red. Fantastic. Oh fuck no. Don't do this to me now, you piece of shit. I hit the brakes like nobody's business and pulled over. No way was I getting sideswiped while driving this overheated coffin. Panic started revving in my chest faster than the engine when I saw smoke curling out from the front. Brain in overdrive, I fumbled under the seat, snagged the fire extinguisher and practically threw myself out of the car, popped the hood, and a thick plume of smoke billowed out. Visibility dropped instantly. Coughing and hacking, I waved my hand in front of my face, trying to clear the acrid fumes. The smoke intensified, a worrying sign of a potentially serious problem. Fuck. A few seconds passed and the smoke thankfully subsided after I blasted it with the fire extinguisher. The brief reprieve allowed me a glimpse of the damage. It was worse than I feared. The battery was visibly warped, the plastic casing starting to melt. To make matters worse, a leak had sprung from the engine block. Come on, how did I forget to check the damn water? My hand automatically reached for my pocket, grabbing my phone. I needed to check the time, figure out how long that I'd been stuck here. A frown tugged at my lips, and I glanced at the screen. 5:30. Ugh. At least I got a signal out here. Let me see. After poking around on my GPS for a few minutes, I finally found a mechanic shop near Payton. Let's hope it's open. I plunked down on the roadside. I listened to my phone ring, waiting for someone to answer. Come on. Please pick up. Nothing, of course. After trying a few more times, someone finally picked up. This is Alvarez's repair shop. Unfortunately, we're about to close. A gruff male voice answered the phone, sounding wary and almost impatient. Oh crap. Look man, please. I need help. My car is basically fried and I'm stuck about 5 miles away from Payton. I really need help. There was a long pause, and cursing in a different language. How bad is it? A weight was lifted off my shoulders. Maybe I wouldn't be stranded after all. Looks like I forgot to check the water level and now the car is overheating. There's smoke and some damage to the battery and possibly a leak from the engine. Maldita sea. Alright, can you send me your location on GPS? I'll come get you, but I won't be able to work on the car today. Just a heads up. Yeah, no problem. I just don't want to be stuck here in the dark, man. That's all. I tried to explain the situation without totally embarrassing myself. But, yeah, no. Right, anyway, send me the location. See you in a few minutes. He ended the call and I blinked. Pretty straightforward. Got it. Now the waiting game. A few minutes crawled by, already feeling like an eternity. Stuck in the dark wasn't my jam. Not because it's scary, but because you're just stranded there, alone on this empty road. No sign of life since my car died. Waiting? Ugh, the worst torture. In the distance, something that looked like lights could be seen. Sweet, might be that guy, I thought while standing back up. The tow truck lurched to a halt, those spotlights plastering me for a couple of seconds. I slapped a hand over my eyes, squinting until the world came back into focus. A towering figure emerged from the cab, dimming the harsh lights. Tall and imposing, he was definitely a looker. A red wolf stood before me, adjusting his red flannel shirt and jeans. His crimson eyes met mine for a moment. He seemed tired, maybe even a little flustered. Sorry for taking too long. I had to deal with some stuff first, but I'm here. He reached out a hand and mine snatched it, trembling like a scared pup. His hold was like iron. No wonder I felt my hand disappear. Leo. His voice finally came through loud and clear, way easier to catch now. Definitely not a local. He gave me a smile that softened those sharp features a bit. Tanner. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. No problem. So let's see what's wrong with your car. He let go of my hand and stalked past me to the car. Reaching into his back pocket, he yanked out a flashlight and aimed it at the damage. A long, low whistle escaped him after a good hard look. Yeah, no way I'll be fixing this anytime soon. Do you have insurance? He asked, eyes locked onto me, arms crossed, eyebrows raised. Nah, probably not. Borrowed wheels. Leo chuckled. And my friend isn't gonna be happy, to say the least. But hey, cash ain't an issue. He gave me a cool stare for a beat, then flashed that grin again, shaking his head as he slammed the hood shut. Alright, gringo. Ain't exactly budget-friendly. I sighed. No duh. Just don't want to be stranded here all night. Leo rolled his eyes like, seriously? Walked past again, headed for his truck. This time I was ready, looking away before that spotlight hit me. Blinkers flicking on, the truck rumbling to life as he turned it around. Cue my escape, gotta grab my stuff from the car. Phone in hand, I grabbed my wallet from the compartment and swung my backpack off the back seat. With everything gathered, I let the wolf work. He was a man of few words, and honestly, fair enough. Talking to strangers is awkward, at least for me, but watching him handle the car, kinda mesmerizing. He glanced back and I tore my gaze away, feeling a blush creep up my cheeks. He blinked at me, confused like a puppy would who'd lost its treats. Shoot, hopefully he didn't notice my blatant staring. A few minutes ticked by, and with a satisfied nod, he clapped his hands. The sudden noise startled me and I let out a yelp, which earned me a chuckle. That was funny. Are you just gonna stand there, or are you coming? He asked, crossing his arms again. Smug bastard. Yeah, let's go, asshole. I couldn't help but smirk at him. He just shook his head, climbed into the driver's seat and swung open the passenger door for me. After I hopped in and slammed the door, we were on our way to Peyton. The truck was a mess, dirty and reeking of cigarettes. But hey, at least I could finally see him clearly with the dome lights on. And let me tell you, this dude was seriously easy on the eyes. He rolled down the window with a sigh, then reached into the glove compartment and snagged a pack of smokes. Mind if I smoke? Not at all. I could go for one. Been craving some for hours. He offered the pack towards me and I snagged a cigarette. With a flick of his wrist, he offered his lighter. I lit my smoke and returned it, watching him carelessly toss it onto the seat. Where are you coming from? Utah. I replied, taking a long drag on the cigarette. Just visiting a friend, taking in the sights. I sighed, waving a hand dismissively. Long drive for sure. He glanced at me, then I rolled down the window, letting the cool air seep in. Tell me about it. I looked outside, not sure why everything was so dark and was barely able to see anything. What about you? I asked, turning back to him. He leaned back and took a long drag from his cigarette, exhaling slowly before answering. Used to be from a town a few miles past Peyton. Leo said, taking another drag from his cigarette. Now though, I work and live right in Peyton itself. He replied, looking a bit more relaxed. But judging by your face, no. I'm not from around here. El Salvador, actualmente. Oh, that's cool. Mexico, I take it? He shook his head, and a smile spread across my face. Not really, it's a bit far away actually, near Guatemala. Funny, I'm from the south too. He tilted his head, seemingly waiting for me to elaborate. Yeah, Brazil. I exclaimed, sticking my tongue out playfully. He blinked in surprise. What? Wow, that's crazy. So what brings you all the way here? He perked up, his ears raised in full attention. Like I said, visiting a friend, and no, I don't like soccer. He snorted, a smile playing on his lips. So, what kind of Brazilian are you? He chuckled, taking another puff of his cigarette. We could be rivals at this point, you know. Soccer's huge down in South America, right? Funny how things work out, huh? But nah, not really my thing. Lights flickered in the distance, signaling our approach to Peyton. Ah, I see. Nice to meet someone from down south anyway. He finished his cigarette with a final drag, flicking the butt out the window. Yeah, sure. You speak English really well, he said, a hint of surprise in his voice. Impressive. Peyton loomed ahead, just a couple of minutes away. My attention snagged on something, a dangling bracelet with an anchor charm swinging from the rearview mirror. As I leaned forward to reach for it, his hand shot out, gripping my arm with surprising force, his expression the most serious that I've seen yet, sent a jolt through me. Sorry. I mumbled, feeling a twinge of guilt as he finally released my arm. His eyes held a flicker of sadness. Sorry about that. He muttered, his voice low. Just don't touch it. His ears flattened against his head. I sank back into my seat, rubbing the spot where his grip had been firm. Nah, it's fine. Just curious, that's all. I turned my head to stare out the side window, avoiding eye contact. He remained silent, his expression unreadable. Maybe I had overstepped my bounds messing with his belongings after just meeting him. He rubbed his left wrist with a sigh. Did I hurt you? He asked softly, his voice barely a whisper. No, not really. You're good. His ears perked back up a little. We finally entered Peyton, the small town unfolding before us. A few buildings stood out as we drove by, offering a glimpse of the town's character. My fault, I said, looking out at the buildings. Sorry for trying to mess around with your stuff. A few buildings, their windows glowing in the twilight, rose above the other structures as we passed through Peyton. I'll get you settled at a hotel, he said, offering a sad smile. You can swing by my shop tomorrow to see your car. Sound good? Yeah, that works, I replied. You idiot. Now he feels bad because you couldn't keep your hands to yourself. After a few minutes, we pulled up to a hotel. He stopped the engine and rubbed his left wrist again, catching my eyes this time. He snatched the back of his head with a sheepish grin. Here we are. Again, sorry. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to. His voice trailed off. I shook my head and offered a reassuring smile. Don't worry about it. See you tomorrow, then? He reached out and gave my hand a gentle shake. Yeah, see you then. Oh, give me your phone number in case I need to call you. He released my hand and I opened the door, smiling at him one last time before closing it behind me. Yeah, sure. I reached the hotel entrance and paused, a strange feeling nagging at me. Glancing back, I saw him still behind the wheel, his gaze lingering on me. I offered a small wave, and after a moment's hesitation, he waved back before finally driving away. That was, interesting, I murmured to myself. After checking in and making my way to the room, I unlocked the door and practically fell onto the bed with a sigh of relief. Finally. I breathed, letting the tension melt away. My phone buzzed and I saw a text from Leo. Sorry about grabbing your arm earlier. Definitely not my best move. How about I buy you breakfast as an apology tomorrow? I smiled, the text softening the memory of his earlier behavior. Yeah, it sounds good. His response was quick and simple. Cool. I showered, plugged in my phone, and settled in for the night. The drive had been a grueling marathon, and exhaustion finally claimed me. I drifted off to sleep only to be awakened by a persistent buzzing. Groaning, I rolled over, hoping to silence the insistent text. The buzzing continued, each vibration a drill to my skull. Reaching blindly, I fumbled for my phone, but it felt strangely unresponsive. Squinting through sleep-crusted eyes, I saw the screen flickering with garbled messages. Answer? Why don't you? Are you there? Check your damn phone. Why are you here? The words swam before my eyes. Then a sickening crack resonated in the silence. The screen spiderwebbed with fractures, replaced by a cacophony of whispers, chilling and close. A jolt of adrenaline ripped through me, and I jolted awake, sitting bolt upright in bed. Heavy breaths escaped my lungs, and I realized that it was a nightmare. Dawn lights streamed through the window, painting the room in a pale glow. Just another dream. I muttered, my voice thick with sleep. Then my phone buzzed on the nightstand. My heart shuddered in my chest, a cold dread settling in my stomach. Hesitantly, I reached out, my fingers trembling slightly. The screen was flawless, devoid of any cracks. Relief washed over me, tinged with confusion. The phone buzzed again, making me jump. Shoot. I whispered, the adrenaline still coursing through me. A text message blinked on the screen, the sender name making me sigh. Are you awake yet? It was Leo. It took a while for the adrenaline from the dream to subside before I could reply to Leo. Yes, just need to get ready first. I rubbed my face, letting out a yawn despite the unsettling dream. Looking back, the garbled texts and whispers didn't make any sense. Why would something like that intrude on my sleep? Most of my nightmares revolve around the accident years ago. Just the thought of it left a pit in my stomach, the helplessness watching her fade away. It was brutal. My eyes landed on the mirror reflecting my sleep-tousled hair. Time to get moving. Dwelling on the past wouldn't solve anything. There was a car to fix and a town to explore. A week here and a chance for a fresh start. Right. I muttered, a flicker of determination in my eyes. A quick shower, a fresh change of clothes, and a minty blast of toothpaste later, I felt ready to face the day. Breakfast, car troubles, and Leo. A whirlwind of tasks awaited me. Speaking of the car, a groan escaped my lips. My friend was definitely going to be livid. But hey, there was no point in dwelling on it. Time to fix things. Apologies wouldn't cut it. Maybe a peace offering would help smooth things over when I got back. Now there was just one tiny problem. Where exactly was Leo's repair shop? With a shrug, I pulled out my phone and sent a quick text. Yo, Leo, where's your repair shop? The response was almost immediate. A few blocks away, but I can swing by and pick you up. I considered the offer, watching the flow of people outside my window. Maybe having him around wouldn't be the worst. He knew the town better than I did, saving me the hassle of navigating. Yeah, cool, if that's not a bother. No, it's cool. Be there in 5. Leo pulled up in a different car, still sporting yesterday's clothes. He rolled down the window, a hint of amusement in his smile. Need a lift? He asked, his voice laced with playful sarcasm. The heat radiating from the pavement was undeniable, but lying about enjoying a walk seemed like a bad idea, but fuck it. Nah man, walking is fine. I looked at him with a sheepish grin. Leo raised an eyebrow, a flicker of something unreadable crossing his eyes. He opened the door wider. Hop in, smartass, he said, his tone softening slightly. You know it. I replied playfully, climbing into the passenger seat. The moment that I stepped into Leo's car, a wave of tobacco scent washed over me. It wasn't unpleasant, just a familiar kind of different. Wolves, after all, weren't known for their delicate aromas. The cool blast of air conditioning was a welcome relief from the scorching sun. "So, where are we headed?" I asked, buckling my seatbelt. He turned off the AC and rolled up the window, a slight tension evident in his posture. There's a good diner down the road," he said, scratching the back of his neck. "Thought that we could grab some breakfast, my treat. You know, as an apology for last night." Did I sense a hint of lingering guilt in his voice? Yes. "No worries," I replied, trying to ease the atmosphere. "Honestly, it's all good. But hey, no sweat," I assured him, patting my pocket where my wallet sat comfortably. "I came prepared to handle breakfast myself. But hey, if it makes you feel better about last night, then go for it. No hard feelings here." He glanced at me through the rearview mirror, catching my gaze. "Right, thanks for being cool about it," he mumbled, a hint of relief washing over his face. He winked playfully. "Besides, consider it a proper welcome to Pete. 2 birds, 1 stone, right?" I chuckled, leaning back in my seat and letting the show roll by. Peyton had a different vibe during the day, a stark contrast to the hustle and bustle that I was used to back home. The architecture here was unique, houses standing proudly without fences, creating a more open feel. It was a breath of fresh air. Here we are. We stopped in front of a diner, and man, it looked like one of those that you see in movies. It looked really nice. Cool. We both got out of the car and went inside. There was a bell sound when he opened the door. He pointed at the seat and I nodded. There's nothing quite like a retro diner that encapsulates the unique American dining experience, with colorful vintage decor, jukeboxes, and comfortable booths. The nostalgia. There was a poster of an old truck that said, "Bring your family for a fall photo opportunity," with a beautifully decorated fall backdrop on the bed of a vintage '68 Chevy truck on specialty weekends. Leo nudged me with his elbow, a hint of his earlier awkwardness replaced by a hopeful smile. "Pretty darn cool, right?" I scanned the diner, taking in the details. Chrome gleamed under the soft morning light, reflecting the vibrant red vinyl booths and the black and white checkered floor. A jukebox stood proudly in the corner, its chrome exterior hinting at forgotten melodies. The air itself buzzed with a kind of vintage energy, a nostalgic hum that transported you back to a simpler time. Leo looked a little better and less apologetic. I don't want this dude to think that he ruined my experience of the place. "Yeah, man," I replied, a grin spreading across my face. This place is dripping with vintage charm. Hope the food lives up to the atmosphere. Leo chuckled, a sound that seemed to echo in the near-empty diner. We were the only patrons at the moment. The silence broke only by the faint hum of the refrigerator and the sizzle of something delicious from the kitchen. A soft chime announced the arrival of our waitress as she glided towards our booth. She wasn't your typical waitress, a slender cat with jet-black hair and eyes the color of polished obsidian. Her uniform, a red and white dress with a matching apron, mimicked the diner's aesthetic, and a name tag gleamed on her chest. Cynthia.
"Hey there, welcome to Nelson's Diner."
Cynthia purred, her voice smooth as velvet. Her gaze flicked to Leo, and a flicker of something unreadable crossed her features.
"Leo, haven't seen you around in a while now."
The wolf flushed a delicate shade of pink, his earlier bravado melting away. "Yeah, work, and you know." He stammered, reaching for the menus that she offered. "Barely have time for anything these days. Family business and all that." Cynthia's smile remained in place, but it didn't quite reach her eyes.
"Of course."
She murmured, her gaze lingering on Leo for a beat too long before she turned to me.
"And what can I get you for today?"
"I'll let you take the lead," I replied, a playful glint in my eyes. Though with a place this cool, I have a feeling anything on the menu will be amazing. Leo cleared his throat, avoiding my gaze. "Actually, I'll, get you anything you want." My cheeks burned with a sudden warmth. "Great, I muttered, a touch of amusement battling with a sudden awkwardness. Now you've got me embarrassed. The air cackled with unspoken tension, a stark contrast to the cheerful dino decor. Cynthia, however, seemed unfazed.
Oh, I see. I'll give you two some time to decide. Unless you want your usual Leo.
He nodded, and she smiled back at him.
What about you?
Oh, well, what about just a traditional American breakfast? You know, the morning special? I pointed at the picture of some bacon and eggs and smirked at Leo, and he just shook his head as if expecting me to ask for something cheap.
Very well. I'll be done in no time. Anything else?
Now that I think about it, I want some coffee. Black coffee with no cream and sugar, please. Leo blinked for a moment, and the waiter took note of that before leaving. That's disgusting. Coffee with no sugar? He stuck his tongue out. Well, some of us have acquired tastes. With a playful smirk, I set my menu down and leaned back, sinking into the plush embrace of the red vinyl booth. My gaze swept across the diner, taking in the meticulously preserved details, the chromed gleam like a forgotten treasure, the checkered floor, a geometric tapestry of black and white. Even the worn edges of the menus seemed to whisper stories of simpler times. A shade of doubt flickered across my face. The idea of a simpler past, a time before the relentless march of progress, had always been a vague notion. But here in the warm embrace of the diner's retro charm, it felt more tangible, more real. Maybe the world wasn't so different back then. Sure, there's the internet, better medicine, video games. I trailed off. What was the cost of all that advancement? Had the relentless pursuit of progress come at the expense of something more fundamental? A sense of community? A simpler way of life? Leo's gentle tap on the table brought me back to reality. Lost in thought again? He observed, his low voice laced with concern. I forced a smile, letting out a long sigh. Yeah, just, thinking. He studied me for a moment, his red eyes searching. About what? He pressed, a hint of curiosity in his voice. Even his ears flicked forward, in silent inquiry. His sudden handsomeness caught me off guard, a warmth blooming in my chest that had nothing to do with the diner's vintage charm. It's just the vibe of this place. I stammered, trying to find the right words. Maybe it's the simplicity, the feeling like people didn't have to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. A flicker of sadness crossed Leo's face. He turned away, his gaze drifting towards the window. A subtle tension settled between us, broken only by the soft hum of the refrigerator and the clatter of dishes from the kitchen. He rubbed his left wrist unconsciously, a habit that I'd noticed before. There was something that he wasn't telling me, something hidden behind the worn leather bracelet on that view mirror. I yearned to ask, to reach out and understand. But the memory of last night's awkward encounter with an anchor bracelet still hung in the air, a barrier keeping me from probing further. The jukebox crooned a classic tune, a melody that seemed woven from the very fabric of the diner. Its cheerful rhythm did little to dispel the introspective mood that had settled over me. Gotta ask something. Leo finally blurted out, his voice breaking the comfortable silence. I turned to face him, curiosity etched on my features. Here it comes, I thought, bracing myself for whatever he was about to say. Why the long drive from Utah? The question hung in the air as a waitress arrived, balancing two steaming plates on her arm.
Here you go, you two.
She chirped, her smile as bright as the diner's chrome accents.
Enjoy.
I thanked her, my mind still wrestling with Leo's question. He, on the other hand, dove straight into his food. His choice, a chicken sandwich accompanied by a vibrant orange juice, seemed a stark contrast to my black coffee. He unwrapped the sandwich with practiced ease, taking a large bite. A sliver of green peppers clung precariously to his lips for a moment. He caught my amused gaze and, with a playful grin, licked it away. So, about Utah? Just as I was about to answer, Leo spoke again, his voice regaining his usual confidence. Yeah, the reason I'm here is, about a town, actually. He swallowed his mouthful of sandwich, reaching for his orange juice. He held it poised for a sip, then paused, his eyes locking with mine. A town called... I took a deliberate sip of my coffee, the bitter taste mirroring the nervous knot forming in my stomach. Echo. The effect was instantaneous. Leo choked on his orange juice, a spray of liquid erupting from his mouth. A violent cough followed, his face turning a deep shade of crimson. The waitress who had been refilling coffee at a nearby booth whirled around at the commotion, her smile replaced with a concerned frown.
Leo, are you alright?
She inquired, rushing to his table. Leo, still sputtering and coughing, managed to shake his head, his eyes wide with disbelief. What? He gasped, his gaze fixed on me. The tension in the diner was thick enough to cut with a knife. My stomach churned, a mixture of anticipation and dread bubbling within me. The simple word echo had triggered a reaction far more dramatic than I ever could have predicted. What secrets did this town hold? Leo wiped his snout with a napkin before glancing at me. The waitress lumbered over, clearly annoyed, and started mopping up the juice Leo spat out. Leo tossed her an apologetic look before turning back to me, that same grim expression that he wore yesterday back on his face. You gotta be kidding me, right? He asked, sounding pissed or maybe confused. I couldn't tell which. Nope. Even though he seemed a little ticked by my reply, there was no reason to sweat it. That's why I came here in the first place, after all. Leo took a deep breath and sank back down in his seat. I didn't get what had him so suddenly riled up. Alright, cut the death stares already. Why are you freaking out about it? I asked, but he just shut his mouth. Seriously, dude? You gotta be kidding me. Again, not a word. Just rubbed his left wrist like it was bothering him. After a few seconds, I decided to focus on my breakfast. The waitress finished mopping and brought Leo another glass of juice, leaving us alone again. The air felt heavy for some reason. I could practically smell Leo's unease from across the table. That sad look on his face was hard to miss. I took another sip of the coffee and set the mug down. Judging by the way that he was acting, Leo was clearly linked to whatever happened in Echo, especially since he lived just a few miles from Peyton. You were part of the whole Echo mess, weren't you? His ears flattened, and he leaned back in his seat, letting out a sigh and crossing his arms. Yeah, I was. His hand twitched towards his wrist again, but he stopped himself. Then he grabbed his glass of orange juice and chugged it down. He glanced down at the remains of his sandwich and finished it off. Figured. It was kinda obvious before, but after you started acting all weird. He licked his muzzle, his expression unreadable. So, you know what happened there? He asked before downing what was left of his orange juice. Read about it, that's all. Crazy stuff, people killing each other. Hard to believe, really. Leo stared out the window, his thoughts a mystery. Why do you even want to go there after reading that? Most of it was true, you know. Leo's voice sounded tired and worn out. School project, huh? Snapping pics and stuff? Trying to be some hotshot reporter? Leo's voice dripped with sarcasm. Seriously, dude, could have poisoned me with his tone. Nah, not quite. More like an urban explorer, you know. Love checking out ghost towns and creepy stuff. Pictures and videos are a must, obviously. I flashed him a grin, but it went ignored. He just got pissier. What? I asked, confused. He scoffed. Just go home. He frowned at me. Why would I? Because it's a dumb idea, that's why. Okay, poking the bear wouldn't be smart. He wouldn't be lying after all. Plus, I wasn't there for an interview. I shut my mouth and kept shoveling breakfast. Leo just sat there silent. After a while, his whole vibe shifted. The anger was gone, replaced by sadness. Don't even think about going to Echo. He mumbled, barely a whisper. I tilted my head, putting my fork down. Why, Leo? It was a legitimate question. Yeah, things went down the crapper there, but it's been years. The place is practically a ghost town now. Look, I don't know. I'll try to get your car fixed today, but stay here. Don't go to Echo. You'll seriously regret it. Listen, man, I appreciate the concern. He cut me off. You don't get it. Mierda, that place is dangerous. You're not from around here. I'm just trying to help you out. Take it from a local, okay? I used to live there. He looked away, his face etched with pain. All right. Thanks for the breakfast and the apology, I guess. I stood up, and he got to his feet, looking worried. Hey, I wasn't... He started mumbling something. But screw it. Who was he to tell me what to do? I drove all this way for Echo. No way that I'm backing out now. I perched on a bench outside the diner, people watching. The shade helped, a welcome relief. Now he wasn't the only one annoyed. Why was this dude hassling me about some stupid ghost town? Sure, it sounded creepy, but I wasn't new to this. Back in Brazil, I'd explored a bunch of spooky places. This wasn't any different, just not in my home country. Leo strolled out of the diner and headed towards me, hands in his pockets. Mind if I sit? I nodded, and he plopped down next to me. Listen, I didn't mean to piss you off, but nobody around here will drive you out there, and your car's screwed for a while. Yeah, I know. Look, Leo, I appreciate you looking out for me, but I can handle myself. He nodded, looking a little less tense now. No doubt. You came all this way to see the place after all. He said, rubbing his face. Chingada madre. Is that really important? He asked, crossing his arms again. Dude, I'm only in the US for a month. Might not even come back. His ears twitched like he was thinking. Fucking hell. Look, maybe I can take you out there tomorrow. My ears perked up and I whipped my head towards him. But I won't be hanging around. Sounds good to me. Besides, I'm planning on camping out there anyway. He shook his head and smirked at me. Fine, but only because you have the biggest puppy dog eyes ever. I blushed and punched his shoulder. Screw you, I'm not a dog. He laughed it off. All right, asshole. I mean, thanks. But damn, sorry for being such a pain. Tanto faz. He blinked. Huh? He asked, confused. I smirked. Stupid wolves all carrying and stuff. I stood up and he followed suit. Let's go see your car then. He winked and started walking to his truck. I watched him go. There was something about him that made me feel weird. In my pants. Part of me liked him caring, the other part hated it. It was nice to feel looked after, you know. Sure, my friends cared, but this felt different. Or maybe I'm overthinking things. You coming? Shit. Yeah. He hopped in his truck and opened the passenger door for me. I climbed in and shut the door. I guess. I don't know if this is copyrighted because somebody told me that this is a cover of a Jujutsu Kaisen song. So if you're not hearing anything now, or if you end up hearing a different song than from what's supposed to be here, then that's why. That's actually where I'm going to leave it for today. So, that was the first chapter of Cycles. We are introduced to our protagonist, Tanner the hyena. I believe they are a spotted hyena. And I'm assuming Leo is going to stick around, because, I mean, he's right here. But yeah, so I take it Tanner is very smitten with Leo, or at least he's falling for the Red Wolf. I mean, who can blame him? The guy's hot. He's a hot mess, but he's also hot. And from the looks of it, still in desperate need of therapy. Clearly he is still hanging on to probably things that went on probably with Chase. Tanner has his own things too, probably. Probably having to do with, I am assuming it is referring to a car accident, or maybe just an accident in general that involved somebody else. This will probably play a greater role in the story going forward. I do know that somebody else is going to be making another appearance. I'm not going to tell you who, but they're known for being stinky. What else? I will have to do some censoring in the next chapter, though. That's all that's all that I'm gonna say. But yeah, so overall, interesting. I do get the whole like Tanner is being very dismissive of what went on in Echo. Probably very dismissive of what goes on in general and like all these little ghost towns and places like that. Probably has never seen anything or encountered anything, so it's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go visit this very famous ghost town in the American Southwest. Actually, it's not even called American Southwest, it's called Columbia Southwest. But yeah. And obviously, we know that there is stuff that goes on in Echo. And if he wasn't kidding, and as it turns out that Devin wasn't able, well, no, that Cameron died, and that Devin is currently possessed by an echo of Cameron, that means that the town is still alive. Technically speaking, there's probably nothing left. There shouldn't be anything left. But, you know, this is a fan game, so, like, they can resurrect some of the buildings for urban exploration, I guess. But technically speaking, there is nothing left in Echo. That's literally just like the motel and almost nothing left. There's no buildings there. I'm just saying, okay? There is also another danger, if I recall, in Echo, aside from, you know, spooky, emotion demon-like land and spider monster and everything else that is technically canon in this story. But yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm hinting to something very deliberate, but that's all I'm saying. Unless he changes his mind, in which case, you know, there's gonna be something different with the story. Anyways, but is that me or is it getting yellow? Whatever. But yeah. So, I am interested in the story. Obviously, I'm reading it. Tanner. I'm not just reading it because you're one of my supporters on the channel, Tanner. I'm reading it because, you know, I like the Echo fan stories. I always intended to read the Sydney-based Echo fan story, and if you guys are up for it, or me just reading what is basically a Word document, I could read that too. I would love to reread it again and then read the new chapters that were added to it. So, like, if you guys are willing to hear me read what is essentially a Word document, then, you know, I'll do that too. Anyways, but yeah, so... And thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play Cycles yourself or stay up to date with its development, you can do so by going down to the link in the description, which have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download the game and play it. There is a Discord, as I have obviously already mentioned. I don't know why I can't talk right now. And I won't be linking that down, but I do think that that is on the itch.io page. It's just, you know, some people just don't like it when you link to the Discord somewhere else, you know, because you're just gonna get weirdos, you know, joining. But yeah, so all that will be available. I don't know if he has any form of support for this project. If they have a Ko-fi, then, you know, I will link that down too, you know. But yeah, also, if you want to support the channel like everyone else does, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, which should have a link for like the official thing, because I know for some people it doesn't show up. It should be there. Like, if you're on the desktop page or on mobile, you should be able to see like literally directly under the video where it says like subscribe. Even if you're already subscribed or something like that, it will be like it's for the channel membership. But yeah, also I have a Ko-fi in case you want to support me through there, and Throne in case you want to, you know, buy me a book or something else that's on there. But yeah, anyway, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.